Dear students, welcome back to our class. Before going to this class, let's enjoy with some activity. Dear children, here are some pictures. These are related to sports. Now what to do? You have to guess the names of these sports. And second one, and the third one is this. And the fourth one is this. You have to guess the names of these things. Have you got? Okay, let's check the answer. First one, the game hockey. Very nice. And the second one is volleyball. And the third one is football. And the fourth one is horse riding. Fantastic, dear children. Now, let's move on to the next. Dear students, I hope you went through the first session and enjoyed the reading about the antiques of the young Kapil Dev in the lesson My Beginnings. In our second session, we will see some more of the naughty and played activities further on into the game cricket. So, shall we start? Before we start the second part, let us see what are the points we just learned in the previous class. My beginnings, Kapil Dev's My Beginnings. Let's recall what we have learned in the previous class. Kapil Dev was born on 6th January 1959 in Chandigarh, a small town nestling in the foothills of Himalayas. His mother always regales him with tales of his naughty behavior. He was very curious, and his ambition to travel around the world and drive a Mercedes Benz. In his childhood, like all the other children all around him, he tried to bunk school and save enough money to go to new movie, have a plate of chicken chow mein with his friends. And they amuse themselves by breaking the fruits of neighbor's tree. Once it made to sit still for nearly 2 hours on papaya tree, the time they discovered that papaya rash can cause. Kapil's neighbor counted fruits from his garden because she knew children up to mischief. Children went to the garden and taken 92 pomegranates from her garden. Till here we have studied in the previous class. Dear children, now let us continue with the second part of this lesson. Dear children, I'm going to read the text. Look at your textbook and listen carefully. The other really naughty thing I remember doing is riding the police horses that were left in the huge open green areas to graze. A few of my friends and I would go there regularly and try to ride them. They were huge police horses, not used to clumsy children scrambling onto them, but despite innumerable falls and may a fine, I learned to ride and control a horse. In fact, even today, I am quite comfortable on a horse without a saddle, as that was the way I had taught myself to ride. Once we had learned to master the horse. There was one I became particularly attached to. We became more courageous and ventured out of the fenced area with the horses. Nobody would have noticed except for the fact that I bit off more than I could chew. I decided to take the horse home and house him in our back garden, which was about 700 square feet in height. The horse could probably have been tethered there, but I hadn't anticipated and struggle I would have in getting the animal through the tiny 5.5 foot by 2 foot doorway. We were caught within minutes of our arrival. The house, of course, was duly returned, and the chiding I received from my father discouraged my venturing near the grazing fields again. I was never very studious and always preferred to spend my time playing games and participating in athletics where I could use up my energy. I went to a small local school that had few cricket facilities. The game they offered at that time were basketball, football, table tennis, and hockey, probably because all they required was a ball, a couple of sticks, and a net. I was fairly good at all games, exceptionally good at athletics, but I dreamt of becoming a footballer. I worked hard at that game and was selected to play for my school. Fortunately, all my friends were interested in and played cricket, and they convinced me to change my game. That is a decision I will always be grateful to them for, as they unconsciously introduced me to the game for which I was made. I was fairly good at all the games, exceptionally good at athletics, but dreamed of becoming a footballer. I worked hard and that game and was selected to play for my school. Fortunately, all my friends were interested in and played cricket. They convinced me to change the game. That is a decision I'll always be grateful to them for, as they unconsciously introduced me to the game for which I was made. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, I switched from one game to other and began to spend a lot of my time on the cricket field. Naturally, I played in a number of interschool tournaments and came to be noticed as a promising lad in the local press. But it was all merely fun to start with. I could never have imagined where cricket would lead me, and I certainly had no plans then of becoming a professional at all. Now, let us list out some new words came across in the lesson. Innumerable means countless. Graze, to feed on grass, like animals like cows, horses, etc. Chid, scold, baigula. Exceptional, outstanding. Unconsciously, to do something without being fully aware of it. Professional, a person who works in a job that needs a high level of training or educational. Idiomatic phrases, bite of more than can I one can chew, doing more thing than one can manage. These are the new words which I was listed here. If you get more words, you can write it down in your workbook and its meaning also. Now, let us understand the lesson. The other really naughty thing I remember doing is riding the police horses that were left in the huge open grass areas to graze. A few of my friends and I would go there regularly and try to ride them. They were huge police horses, not used to clumsy children scrambling onto them, but despite innumerable falls and many fight, I learned to ride and control a horse. In fact, even today, I'm quite comfortable and a horse without a saddle that was where I was taught myself to write. Kapil remember his one more activity, that is riding the police horse that were left in the huge open grass area to graze. After his innumerable fall, he learned to ride the horse. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಘಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಅವರ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದ ಘಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಂತೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಸನ್ನು ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಲ್ತದ್ದು. ಇವರು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಲ್ಲುಗಾವಲಿನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂತಹ ಕುದುರೆಗಳನ್ನು ಏರಿ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹಲವು ಸಲ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನವೂ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಪಿಲ್ ದೇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಯಿತು. ಅಂದರೆ ಹಾರ್ಸಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಯಾಡಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತಹ ವಿಚಾರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಯಿತು. Kapil Dev worked like into one particular horse, and he used to ride the horse of one of he had mastered. The horse will become more courageous. Nobody would have noticed except of his the fact that I bit more than I could chew. What did Kapil do? He decided to take the horse home and house him in back garden, which was about 700 square feet in size. The horse could probably have been tethered there. He would have tied the horse. He had planned to take the horse into his garden. He tied the horse there. He tied the horse, but I hadn't anticipated the struggle I would have in getting the animal through the tiny 5.5 foot by 2 foot doorway. But Kapil Dev not know that it would be very difficult to get the horse through the small doorway of his house. So what happened? While he was struggling to get the horse in, we were caught with the minutes of our arrival. As soon as he lurched home and was trying to get him horse through the gate, they were caught by whom? They were caught by Kapil's father. The horse of course was a jolly return, and chiding I received from my father discouraged my venture near the grazing field again. Kapil got a very strong scolding from his father. He had to return the horse to the place where it belonged, and thereafter all his visits to the grazing ground to be stopped. ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಏನಾಯ್ತಂತೆ, ಈ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ರೈಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಕರೇಜಿಯಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಈ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ರೈಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಲಿತವರು ತುಂಬ ಕರೇಜಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಆ ಹಾರ್ಸನ್ನು ತನ್ನ ಮನೆಯ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರುವ, ಗೇಟಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರುವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋ ಯೋಚನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾವ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೋ ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಸೀದಾ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ದ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಕುಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲ್ ವುಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಟೈನಿ 5.5 foot ಡೋರ್ವೇ. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕುದುರೆಯನ್ನು ನುಗ್ಗಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಾಟ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಅರೈವಲ್. ನಾವು ಬಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಸಿಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡೆವು. ದ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಡಲಿ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಐ ರಿಸೀವ್. ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಡಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆಯ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಬೈಗಳ ತಿಂದದ್ದು ನಾನು ಮರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ನಂತರ ಎಂತಾಯಿತು, ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಗ್ರೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಿನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿತ್ತು. Kapil says, I was never very studious and always preferred to spend time playing games and participating in athletics where I could use up my energy. He would participate running, jumping, etc. I went to a small local school and have few cricketing facilities that had few cricketing facilities. This school probably don't have the wicket and bats and whatever needed for cricket, but they had offered game that they offered were basketball, tennis, table tennis, and hockey. Probably all they required was a ball, a couple of sticks, and a net. I was really good at all the game, exceptionally good at athletics, but d- dreamed of becoming a footballer. Kapil says, I dreamt becoming a footballer. See, the number of games Kapil Dev was interested, you can see the pictures, and played well. I worked hard in that game at football and was selected to play for my school. Fortunately, all my friends were interested and played cricket, and they convinced to change my game. So, all through he played football very well. Some of his friends started playing cricket, and they said that to please you join us. So, st- listening get this interest in this game, his friends told him and said to join this cricket. So he was grateful to them as they unconsciously introduced the game which I was made. So he says, I was always grateful and always be grateful to my friend who introduced me in the field of cricket. In the field of cricket. What happened? It was never studious. ತುಂಬ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಇದ್ದ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು? ಕಪಿಲ್ ದೇವ್. ಆದರೆ ಆ ಗೇಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ಸಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರು. ಇವರಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ ಇತ್ತು? ಮುಂದೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕನ್ನುವ ಕನಸು, ಆಕಾಂಕ್ಷೆ ಇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ವರ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಅವರು ತಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ ಮೈ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೇ. ಅದೇ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸಿಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟ. ಅವ್ರು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದರು, ತುಂಬ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟನ್ನು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡಿಗೆ ತರುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ನನ್ನ ಹಂಬಲ ಇದ್ದದ್ದೇನು, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವ ಯೋಚನೆ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಮುಂದೆಗೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತಂತೆ, ಜಸ್ಸಿ ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ imperceptibly, I switched from one game to other and began to spend lot of time. He moved to one game to another, and gradually he began spend most of the time in the field of cricket. Naturally, I played in a number of inter-school tournaments and came to be noticed as a promising lad in the local press. The local newspaper reported about his ability, and he started bowing more and more and well-known cricket players. I could never imagine where lead me, and I certainly had no plans of becoming a certain cricket player. So this is that how a couple describes which the game which he switched one game to another and finally ended up taking cricket as his profession later on his life. ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬ ಆಸೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅವರು ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಗೇಮಿನಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗೇಮಿನ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೋದೆ, ತುಂಬ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಪಟ್ಟೆ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕಾರಣ ಯಾರು, ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲೆಸನ್. Now, I want to check your understanding. So, what to do, children? Just look at the screen and read the question and write the answers in your workbook. Do it quickly, children. Okay. Choose the correct answer. Kapil Dev and his friends were riding dash. Neighbor's house, racing horse, army horse, and police horse. You have to add police horse. So what is the answer? You have to write. And the second one is Kapil Dev want to be a dash. I spent my childhood like all the other children dash me. The correct preposition to be filled in this blank is dash. Have you finished? Very nice, you did it quickly. Now, let us look at the answer. Choose the correct answer. Kapil Dev and his friends were riding dash police horse. Kapil Dev want to be a footballer. I spent my childhood and all the other children dash me around me. These are the answers for the questions which I have asked. Now what to do? It is the last part. Just recall what we have learned today. Kapil was very adventurous by nature. There was a field near his house where police horses were left for grazing. Here he learned how to ride a horse on his own. This was not easy because police horses are huge in size. Because of this early experience, Kapil says that even in a later years, he had the ability to ride horse without a saddle. ಸ್ಯಾಡಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಕುದುರೆ ಓಡಿಸುವ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. He made an attempt to take one of the police horse home but was caught red-handed by his father. Thereafter, his visit to the horse grazing ground came to an end. He made an attempt to take one of the police. ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ, ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಸಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಒಂದಿನ ಬಂದು ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಕಲಿತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಅವನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಸನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಲಭ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಸಾಗಿಸುವ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಡೋರ್ವೇಯಿಂದಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕುದುರೆಯನ್ನು ಒಳಗಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು. ಹೇಗೋ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ನುಗ್ಗಿಸುವಾಗ ಹಿಂದಿನಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಬಂದರು, ಅಪ್ಪ ಬಂದರು. ಮುಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಆ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಯಿತು. He excelled at different sports, but after being persuaded by friends, he decided to take up cricket. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸಿನ ಒತ್ತಾಯದಿಂದಾಗಿ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟನ್ನು ಆರಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. He soon developed a keen interest in the game. He went on to win many local tournaments, and soon people started taking note of this boy with promising talent. In this way, gradually climbing up the ladder of success, Kapil Dev finally decided to take up cricketing as a career. This is what in this session we have studied. Now, what to do? It is the ending part. So, in if you understood, you have to answer these questions. Home assignments are given, dear children. Read the questions and try to answer it. How did Kapil learn to ride a horse? And the second question is, Kapil Dev wanted to be keep any one of police horse at his house. Why? Why did he not succeed in doing this? And the third one is, how did Kapil decide to take up cricketing as a career? Have you got children? Then what to do? Do your work and write it in your workbook. Dear children, before doing this work, you have to read the text. Otherwise, you can't answer the questions. So, you have to read the text and try to answer the questions. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.